Please welcome Matt Gaetz.
Hi, Shemane. Nice to be with you.
Thank you so much for being here. So I'm excited about this. You were briefed on an alleged alien. I'm just going to dive right into this. I hope you don't mind because we've got a short amount of time.
Sure.
The alleged alien hybrid breeding program and captured extraterrestrials breeding with humans. For two-part question. Why are you talking about this now that you're out of Congress? And what do you make of this?
Well, I was giving an interview to my good friend Benny Johnson, and he was asking about some of the strangest briefings that I had received around these UAP and UFO issues. And it wasn't actually a briefing that I received in Washington, D.C. It wasn't a briefing I received in a classified setting or even in the Capitol. I was back in Crestview, Florida, in my district office, and a service member who was connected to the 7th Special Forces Group mission at Camp Bull Simons near the Eglin Air Force Base, where a lot of weapons testing occurs. He requested a meeting with his congressman, and when folks in uniform wanted a meeting with me, I didn't slough it off to staff. I would personally take those meetings, and he came in with 2 defense contractors with silver hair and dark suits. And he laid out his allegation that there was this program run by the military where they essentially trafficked people into these breeding environments where entities from outer space were captured and held for that purpose. Now, to be clear, I had in the meeting with me my general counsel and my chief military attaché. Both of them thought the briefing was nonsense. They thought this was a service member who was, up to something or not completely all there. They thought that the other participants in the meeting could have just been kooks. And so we didn't do what was asked of us, which was to stage a simultaneous raid on multiple locations with members of Congress in parts of the country where the allegation was that this program moved from place to place.
So you're no longer bound by secrecy. Give me your thoughts. Is this alien, extraterrestrial, demonic? What do you think?
Well, I don't know. I really don't. And I think that there is pressure for leaders to have a definitive opinion on this. And frankly, the access to information that we sought from the military about UAPs, about recovered craft, about biologics, there was such an effort to keep us away from it. When we sought subpoena power, we fought congressional leadership who stood in the way, members of both political parties. When we wanted to talk to certain people in the intelligence community, we were told that there was a different level of access or classification that we had to get an approval for, or a letter, or a designation. And I mean, as you said in your intro, I was on the House Armed Services Committee for 8 years. I didn't take kindly to generals telling me that I couldn't see radar signatures or that I couldn't talk to pilots who had extraordinary stories about some of these events. At times, our investigations did reveal important information. It was the investigation that Congressman Burchett led that allowed David Grush to expose his role in craft recovery, and that the CIA maintained a craft recovery unit. And so the investigation is ongoing. People like Eric Burleson, a congressman from Missouri, Anna Paulina Luna in Florida, they're doing great work on this.
So what did you see that you could share with us that made you pause and think that, this is something big, something that the American people need to know about, and especially if our tax dollars are going to pay for these experiments? I mean, an alien hybrid breeding program, did you see anything as a result coming out of this?
No, I only received the one briefing about it. And again, the collective judgment of that was that we wouldn't be in a position to execute a simultaneous raid, which was the only next investigatory step. So no other steps were taken on that other than sort of receiving a strange and unbelievable briefing. There were things I did see with my own eyes that concerned me. And most often, that was when I was viewing video that had been declassified or released by the United States Navy. And also when I looked at various radar signatures. It was always concerning to me when I would look at recorded radar and I would see in the atmosphere or on the screen what what just didn't look like any technology that the United States possessed, and how propulsion worked, and how the merving of objects into and out of one another seemed to occur in some sort of rhythmic way, but also undetectably. And it were those moments that got me asking more questions than the briefing on the hybrid program ever did.
So why this? Why now? President Trump said he's going to, disclose all the files, the UAP files. And we know about Project Bluebeam. We know that there are things that they don't want us to know. Why? And why is all this coming out now?
I think generally leaders don't want people to be afraid. That's not specific to the UAP issue, whether it's war or peace, whether it's economic conditions. Leaders want their constituents to feel safe and secure. And when there aren't easily explainable answers to how objects are moving, or speed, or plasma propulsion, all these different things, that we're learning more and more about, it is unsettling. And when leaders don't have answers, they often are reticent to put the questions out there. Now, President Trump is unique. He's special. He's better. Look at what he's done on the JFK files. We know a lot more about the CIA's involvement in the lives of the people who committed criminal acts when JFK was killed as a result of Donald Trump. And so I think his pro-transparency lens gives us the best opportunity to get the information out. But even if the information gets out, you still may not know what's actually going on.
And that's what's so concerning, is that there are so many of us now, because of this great technology that we have, we're able to do our own deep dives. We're able to research things on our own. There are scientific findings about what has been going on, and the more that they keep it from us, I understand they don't want us to live in fear, but we want to be informed. And I want to ask you, what do you think? I only got about a minute left. Less than a minute, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, I do believe that President Trump will allow Americans access to more information, but that information isn't going to answer all of our questions about the universe. And we'll see if different theories are proven or disproven about extraterrestrial life forms, their existence on Earth, how they may have used Earth at various times for different functions. And I think it'll be an exciting time to learn those things, and maybe even a little scary.
Yeah, it is scary, but the Bible warns us not to live in fear. Speaking of fear, though, let me ask you, since you started speaking out about this, have you been confronted by anyone in the government telling you to stand down?
No. I know the rules on what we're allowed to talk about, what we're not allowed to talk about, and I abide by them. I abide by the law, and I haven't had any challenges there. I am concerned at the number of scientists who have been, who just disappeared, who have had contact with this issue. I think the FBI needs to look into that further.
Well, we hope you stay safe, obviously, and please come back and give us an update, because I believe that we should know. The American public needs to know and wants to know, rather than us going down so many different rabbit holes. Matt Gaetz, thank you so much for joining me. Where can people find you and follow you?
Yes, I make the Matt Gaetz Show on One American News every weeknight at 9 o'clock Eastern. We'd love to have everyone tune in. We're on YouTube TV, Dish, and the OAN app at oann.com.
Matt Gaetz, good to see you, and thank you once again
Thanks for having
joining
me. Always a pleasure.
That interview went viral with Matt Gaetz, but don't go away. We've got lots more coming up.